I feel like that you guys have had your sermon already, or your talk, by Mr. De La Garza, and that I'm just prolonging their agony a little bit. But anyway, I am very, very humble, and I'm just humbled that you guys asked me to share with you some of my thoughts. And for those of you who have come into my office, and quite a few have been in my office for various reasons, if not just to get chocolate, you've come into my office. When you look at my bookcase, you see that one word that says believe. Believe. And that has been a basis of what I've done for a long time in nursing. And just part of the trilogy. And the other two parts of that trilogy is achieve and succeed. And so tonight, I want to share with you some thoughts about that. Believe, achieve, and succeed. And you guys will forgive me if I don't face you, because quite frankly, these are the important people, okay? So I'm going to face them as I talk to the group. I'm going to make a very bold statement. You are the most important person alive as far as your life is concerned. Now, that does not necessarily mean that you are a narcissist, that you're proud, or an egomaniac. On the contrary, you can possess a spirit of humility and still believe in your abilities to build positive experiences. You can believe in your ability to develop a positive character, and you can believe in your ability to create focused goals that with a white-hot laser intensity, you will eventually achieve. As you achieve each of your goals, you will come to realize that you have succeeded and will continue to succeed regardless of the challenges that are ahead. And that success, in part, is what makes each of you important. Now, who is it or what is it that propels you down this road of success? Who or what is it that will lead you to eventually develop the sincere belief that you cannot fail, that you will succeed at whatever you choose to do? I personally like to believe that the who is God. A God who cannot fail, a God who has never failed you, and a God who will not fail, because nothing is impossible with him. And the what is knowledge. We've talked a lot about knowledge. The what is knowledge. Knowledge that you have obtained in the past, knowledge that you are currently obtaining, knowledge that you will gain in the future, and knowledge that no one can take from you. No one can take from you. Knowledge that can eventually evolve into a source of personal, perpetual power. However, it's imperative for you to realize that knowledge in and of itself is not power. It is only potential power. Each of you already have unlimited potential power contained in the marvelous human computers we all call our brain. And for the next few minutes, I would like to focus our thoughts on 12 principles that may help you to convert your potential power into real power. So here we go. Number 1, dependability. Dependability is the first foundation of a good character. People of character do what they say they will do when they say they will do it, and according to agreed upon conditions. They are the leaders, the individuals to whom people turn for guidance because they have demonstrated that they care, that they can be trusted. If you respect yourself enough to keep commitments, even when it's inconvenient for you to do so, others will come to respect you they will come to believe in you. Dependability, like other character traits, is a habit. Begin today to nurture your dependability traits into reliable dependability habits. If you procrastinate or find it difficult to meet your commitments, start small. Promise yourself that you will be on time and manage your time so that you are. Soon you will find it easier to keep other commitments as well. Remember that your reputation is what people think you are, but your character is what you are. If you want your reputation and your character to match, then concentrate more on dependability as you refine your character. Number 2, personal initiative. Act on your own initiative, but be prepared to assume full responsibility for your actions. One of the primary differences between those who achieve great things in their lives and those who manage only to get by is that successful people learn early in life that they are responsible for their actions. No other person can make you successful or keep you from achieving your goals. When you accept responsibility for your actions, you gain the respect of others and are well on the way to shaping your own future. Author and British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli said, "Actions may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action." Thus, you must take personal initiative if you desire to achieve. Number 3, a winning attitude. If you are worried or afraid of anything, there's something in your mental attitude that needs correction. Worry and fear are negative emotions that serve no useful purpose. They are not benign influences on your behavior. Instead, they are a cancer on your psyche. Both tend to expand if left unchecked until they crowd out positive emotions and beliefs, taking over your mind and filling it with counterproductive emotions that cause you to doubt your ability to succeed at anything you attempt. Unless you control worry and fear, one day you will discover that they control you. While the emotions can't always be corrected with logic or reason, they are always susceptible to action. Therefore, change your mental attitude, and the world around you will change accordingly. Believe, and your world will become what you choose to make it. Number 4, setting goals. You can do it if you believe you can. It's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. When something occurs because we believe it will, the mind is constructed so that it constantly seeks to bring into physical reality the things it thinks about the most. Remember, as a man, as a woman thinks, so they are. You may not be able to achieve everything you would like, but you will not accomplish anything unless you believe you can. Therefore, your short and medium-range goals should be realistic and achievable, but your long-range goals should always far exceed your current capabilities. As Virgil, the Roman poet, once said, "Fortune sides with him who dares." And as my father once told me, "Ron, set your goals high, and even if you don't reach them, you will be farther along when you first started." Action number 5. Count that day lost whose descending sun finds you with no good deed done. It is well known among those who make it a practice to help others that doing service for others benefits the giver as much, if not more, than the receiver. When you do a good deed for someone else, you become a better person. The positive effects that your good deeds has upon you will long endure after the recipient forgets it. Good deeds need not be large, and they don't have to be costly. The greatest gifts are the gift of your time and of yourself. A kind word or a small act of courtesy will be remembered and will be greatly appreciated. Oftentimes, we believe that we have succeeded when we gain the applause of the world, or when we have obtained a bachelor's, a master's, or even a doctoral degree. But think about this. The world pins no medals on you because of what you know, but it may crown you with glory and riches for what you do. Remember this, as you have done it unto the least of these. Number 6, opportunity. Opportunity has an unusual way of stalking the person who can recognize it and is ready to embrace it. The first step in making sure you're ready to recognize opportunities when they occur is to make sure you have a clear understanding of who you are and a clear understanding of what your core beliefs and competencies are. Realistically assess your strengths and weaknesses as though you are reviewing the credentials of a total stranger. Identify what areas you are best in and those where you need improvement. Work on your weaknesses and build your strengths so that when you recognize opportunities, you are prepared to capitalize on them. Opportunities are never just handed to you, but they will always be there for you. They may not be the opportunities that you prefer, but each opportunity of which you take advantage will lead to bigger and better opportunities. And taking advantage of opportunities offered will put you on the path to success. Number 7, the power of teamwork. No one is capable of giving directions unless he or she knows how to take directions and carry them out. Until you are able to join forces with others in pursuit of a common objective, you will never persuade others to join your cause. Effective leaders recognize the value of working together, and they learn how to follow directions before being entrusted with the responsibility for the performance of others. Good leaders show by example how they expect others to behave. You cannot push others to follow your example. You must take the lead, and you must bring them along with you. When you show by your every word and deed that you're a dependable person of character, one who works for the greater good of the entire group, the entire class, or the entire organization, people will take notice, and people will follow. The best way to secure the commitment and unending cooperations of others is through the simple application of the golden rule. When you treat others as you like to be treated, you will inspire loyalty and enthusiastic cooperation. Set high standards for yourself and others. Treat them well. Let them do their assignments, and they will perform miracles for you. As you do this, their success will be your success. Number 8, failure and defeat. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before perfecting the electric light bulb. So what's the moral? Don't worry if you fail. We all could take a lesson from Edison. Arguably one of America's greatest inventors, he had an extraordinary positive perception of life that greatly enhanced his ability as an inventor. When others might have been hopelessly discouraged after failing thousands of times in an attempt to develop an electric light, Edison simply viewed each unsuccessful experiment as an elimination of solutions that would not work, thereby moving him closer to a successful solution. When you are discouraged after you have failed at something, remember Edison's 10,000 failures before he arrived at the solution that literally lit up the world. Remember, no matter where you are now, whatever you can conceive and whatever you can believe, you can achieve, and then you will succeed. Number 9, going the extra mile. A peacemaker always fares better than an agitator. In today's everything is negotiable society, we are bombarded with messages telling us that we get what we demand, not what we deserve. You may temporarily achieve success by demanding more than due from others, but it will not last for long. Squeaky wheels may initially receive the most attention, but the wise wagon master eventually replaces that squeaky wheel. It's easy to create problems and dissension, but very difficult to lead others in a spirit of cooperation and harmony. Which type of individual do you think is most valuable to an organization? And ask yourself, which type of person do I aspire to be? The greatest reward in life will ultimately flow to the peacemakers of the world. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. And now that is true success. Number 10, your mind. The man who dipped a chunk of ice cream in chocolate and called it Eskimo pie made a fortune for 5 seconds of imagination it took to create that idea. 5 seconds, Eskimo pie. Okay? How many of you have never eaten an Eskimo pie? See, he made a fortune off of you. You haven't? Oh, okay. We have to take care of that. Okay. All right. Before you can build anything worthwhile, you must first create it in your mind. Your mind is not constrained by physical limitations or boundaries. In the workshop of your mind, you can visualize things that have never been seen. It is said that Albert Einstein visualized how the universe might look if he were riding on a beam of light through infinity. Then he worked on the mathematics to support his theory of relativity. You can use the power of your imagination to visualize solutions to difficult problems, to develop new ideas, and to see yourself achieving the goals you have set for yourself. The only difference between success and failure in any job is your attitude towards it. A positive mind will always find a way to achieve, while a negative mind looks for all the ways it can't be done. Number 11, health and happiness. You cannot control others' acts, but you can control your reactions to their acts, and that's what counts most to you. No one, absolutely no one, can make you feel negative emotions such as fear, anger, or inferiority without your expressed permission. There will always be people who find perverse enjoyment in upsetting others, who will simply play upon your emotions so they can use you for their own selfish purposes. Whether or not they are successful depends entirely upon you and how you react to their negative behaviors. When you're forced to deal with such people, recognize from the onset they are trying to upset you, not because of something you may have done to them, but because of some problem they have with themselves. Tell yourself, it's not about me. I will not allow this person to upset me. I am in control of my emotions. During my senior year in nursing school, one of my professors showed our class a movie titled Pack Your Own Chute. And many, many, many decades later, I still recall the overriding theme of that film, that I, Ron, must take responsibility of my actions for my actions. No one but me ought to control how I respond to changing environments and to the solutions in my life. Remember that you, along with God, are the master of your ship. Faith and hope. Faith needs a foundation on which to stand. Fear exists without a base. One of the fundamental tenets of every religion is faith. Unless you are willing to suspend your cynicism and disbelief, it is simply impossible to accept the existence of a supreme being. The same is true of your faith in yourself, your abilities, and the God you worship. You must build a foundation of faith to support yourself and your beliefs. When your foundation is strong, you can quickly dispel the fears that attempt to erode your faith. Unless your foundation is built upon the understanding of the principle in which you believe, it can be destroyed by the winds of doubt and fear that will assail all of us from time to time. So make sure you know what you believe and why you believe it. When you do, your foundation, even though attacked, may be shaken, but it will not crumble and it will not dissolve. Because, paraphrasing 2 Timothy 1:12, you know whom you have believed, and you are convinced that he is able to guard what you have entrusted to him. Those are my 12. There's one more, 13. This is my principle that I like to share with all students. The principle of who's in your boat. If you want to be successful, who's in your boat? And it's taken from Mark chapter 4, verses 35 to 40. And it's the story of Jesus and his disciples, and they had just spent a very long day, probably to say like a day that you have 3-4 tests. You come at 7:30 in the morning, you don't leave until after 5-6 o'clock at night, and you still got a long night ahead of you. That was the type of day Jesus and his disciples had had. And so they got into the boat. Jesus said, let's go to the other side of the lake. They got into the boat. And immediately, as they got into the boat, a storm came up. This was a fierce storm. Now remember, the disciples, most of them were seasoned sailors. They were fishermen. They had lived their life on the water. Storms were nothing to them. But this storm was extraordinary, to the point that the boat was almost ready to sink. Remember now, Jesus and the 12 in the boat. The disciples were fighting for their life. Jesus was asleep in the bow of the boat. Jesus was asleep in the bow of the boat. So they called to Jesus and they said, hey, they woke him up, don't you care if we're going to die? Aren't you worried about this? Jesus got up, looked at him, and says, to the storm, peace be still. Then to the disciples, O ye of little faith. The moral of the story, guys, you're that boat. Each of you are that boat. You decide who's in your boat. Each of us, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, right now are facing storms in our lives. But we can, if we believe and we accept the power of Jesus, we can achieve and we can go through those storms and we can successfully get to the other side. Who's in your boat makes a difference in how you believe, how you achieve, in what you succeed. May God bless each of you as you continue this journey as student nurses. I want you to look at your faculty, and I think I speak on the behalf of all your faculty, that we, with all of our heart, on a daily basis, pray for your success in this program. Be blessed and continue to be a blessing as you go forward. Thank you very much.